Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Christal. Did you know that I am preparing to have my last launch for my final round of private one-to-one coaching for the year? So, as the date of this recording, we're in the year 2022, and I am preparing for the last round of private one-to-one coaching, bringing strong ladies, professional ladies who are tired of having the same disagreement with their partner over and over again, and really want to get to a space where they're confident in the way that they're showing up. They're confident in how they're communicating their needs, wants, and desires in the relationship. And they're also confident in knowing that if there's ever a time where their partner isn't meeting those needs, they know exactly how they want to handle that. And so I love this work. I am committed to this work, and I look forward to meeting you. So my invitation to you before we start today's episode is to jump over to my website after you're done listening, which is christalallen.com. And there you'll have an option to sign up for my workshop. And in this workshop, I am going to be talking about the 3 mistakes we make that's hindering us from having that strong marriage that we desire. So again, after you listen to today's show, jump on over to christalallen.com and sign up for that relationship workshop, which is where I'll be talking to you about the 3 mistakes that we typically make that hinder us from having a strong relationship and what to do about it. So I am so excited to have this webinar topic because it's new material, and I'm really excited to kind of spin it and present it to you in a different way. You'll leave that webinar that day with things that you can actually implement in your relationship that same day. So if you're asking yourself, well, how do I create a strong marriage? How do I get a strong marriage? I'm going to be answering that question in that webinar. All right. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about how a long marriage doesn't equal a strong marriage. How many times have you seen a couple that has been together for years, and from the outside looking in, it's like, gosh, they must have a great marriage, a really strong marriage to be able to have that longevity. And what's interesting is that that's not always true. Think about an example that I think we all have either seen or we've heard about are couples who decide to separate after the kids graduate from high school, right? And many times that is something that has been unwinding for years. And whether they made the intentional decision as a couple or just individually that they would stay with it until the kids graduated from high school, it's a case by case basis. But think about how many times that has happened, that you've heard of a couple doing that, or a couple who did that. And so the reason why I'm talking to you about this today is when I'm talking about creating a strong marriage, I really want you to think about what you need to do within the marriage to create it to be strong, and then to maintain it to be strong. If you've been listening to me, you know that I typically have said that one of the things that I know for sure is that a strong marriage doesn't run on the fumes of leftover attention. Okay, did you hear me? So a strong marriage does not run on the fumes of leftover attention. Think about how most of our relationships and marriages started off. We were all in. We were making time for each other, moving things around on our schedule, accommodating the other person, being curious about that other person, compromising, all that kind of stuff, right? And then as the years go by and life happens, the seasons of life happen. Maybe kids have been added to the situation. Maybe you have elderly parents that you're caring for, that type of thing. Things kind of change, right? And for some, and in those situations, many times the marriage and the health of the marriage is put on the back burner. And so what I want to share with you today are 3 things that you can do to basically create some friction against that happening in your relationship. Because remember, if we just keep doing the same thing, we're going to get the same results. So my challenge to you is to do something different. Okay. So I'm going to read off 3 different things that you can do this week, this weekend, whenever you're listening to the recording of this message, so that way you can start creating some different results. Number one, commit to no longer keeping a record of wrong. And really, it's poison to you and your body anyway. What do I mean by that? How many times have our partner or our spouse did something, or maybe there's a theme, right, around a certain behavior or habit that they have, and we are just keeping tally. It's in the back of your mind. You're trying to figure out why they're doing it. Why do they keep doing it? You may even have a written record of wrong. That is a real thing. I have had clients who do that. So they literally have maybe a little secret notepad that's hidden somewhere that they are keeping a record of what their spouse or partner is doing, showing up in a way that they don't appreciate. And they want to remember it, right? Maybe they want to remember it to use it for ammo for the next disagreement or argument, or maybe they just really they want that information top of mind so they can use it when they're thinking about, why am I in this marriage, or whatever other questions are coming up, right? So I want to ask you that you commit to no longer doing that. Don't keep a record of wrong, okay? Number two, don't look to the past to believe what's possible in the future of your relationship. This is important. And many of us do this in our life in general, not just in relationships, whether it's our marriage, a business, moving forward in our career. We'll typically look to the past and say something like, well, I've never done it before. Well, she's never done that before. He's never done that before. They have never done that before. But I want to challenge you that, again, you got to do something different to create different results. And really, you're discounting yourself when you're speaking over yourself in a way that's saying, because I haven't done it in the past, I'm not able to create that in the future. And I wanted you to stop for a second and just think about what that's creating in your mental health space, right? Because what we think, we typically create, right? Think about when you have a little baby, right? They didn't walk before, but they learn how to walk. So same thing here as we become adults. I think we forget that sometimes. Now, this is the last thing, and this is one of the most important things. Accepting your current situation instead of resisting the reality of it, right? Because what I always say is that when you accept the reality of your current relationship, then you can create something different. But I want you just to imagine the visual of this. You're trying to change or create something new in the relationship, right? Create movement in like a different direction. You want things to get better. However, you're not really accepting what's really going on in the relationship. You are working from a delusion, right? Of what you want it to be, what you're resisting that is actually happening. And so the two of those things really create just, struggle, of course, but they create a stuckness. And so I want you to consider that when you accept what's going on, I want you to be reminded that doesn't mean that you love it or that you are happy about some of the things that are going on behind doors in your relationship that maybe just you and your partner know about. So I want to encourage you to trust me on this. When you accept the reality of what's going on, then we can create something that is so powerful from there. But we can't create from a delusion, right? And so that's really important for you to know as you are on a mission, I hope, like I am, to have a strong marriage. So those are the three different things that I want you to keep in mind in creating a strong marriage. Remember, commit to no longer keeping a record of wrong. The second is don't look to the past to believe what's possible in the future. And then the last thing is accepting your current situation. So that way we can create what you want. Accept what you're working with to create what you want. Okay. And this and so much more actually is a part of what I'll be speaking about in my webinar where I talk about the three mistakes that we typically make that really hinder us from having a strong marriage. So thank you so much for tuning in today, watching today's show. Now, remember, my call to action to you is to now jump over to my website, which is christalallen.com, and go ahead and sign up for the three mistakes we typically make that hinder us from creating that strong marriage or relationship that we desire. All right, everyone, that's it for today. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you at one of the workshops. Bye.